Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's time for another episode of review of Senshu. Welcome once again. We're going to be reviewing episode 6 of Senshu, which, intensity-wise, was lower than I expected, but it developed a lot more than I expected. I guess you win some, you lose some, I guess, for that, in that matter. I am excited to see what happens in the following episode, as it seems like what was brewing was already kind of concluded. More characters were introduced, and at the same time, not really. So hopefully they go back to those characters and talk more about them. Before anything, guys, if you haven't done so by now, make sure you check out my first impression videos on this series, as well as episode 2, 3, 4, and 5 reviews on this series, because I am reviewing it. I believe 6 is the most current episode, time of recording at least. So I will hopefully do weekly ones on this one. I will try to have a schedule when it comes to releasing episodes and also chapter reviews, because both of those release by week. So I'll try to keep a schedule so that I have an ongoing posting for those two at least. So, okay. Senshu again. Episode 5 left us in a big cliffhanger with Natsuko almost getting killed. In episode 6, I thought it was going to start with that, and it didn't. It started with kind of the past of the nine, the group nine. I forget what they're called. The nine soldiers essentially, and we have Luke leading them. We see Yunio, we see QJ, we see Mailman, we do see Justice, the dragon that we meet in episode 5, flying around. We do also see a dwarf, which is not just a new race introduced, but also new character introduced. And we see another guy character who I think was an elf, but I wasn't really sure. He was also hand-to-hand combat, and I think that was it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The giant was there. 8. I think that's it. So there's still a ninth character that I didn't see. So again, they have the nine soldier name for a reason. So who's the ninth one? Don't know. Who are the other ones? We don't know yet. So I'm hoping we get more history on those, and those are the ones that I was mentioning that are introduced, but not really. Then the episode starts after the opening, and it's basically after the battle. They kind of concluded the fact that the slime was going to attack Natsuko, but it didn't. It attacked the city, and it basically formed a cocoon around the tower, and now it's producing a monster big enough that it can kill them. So, from there, the whatever is left of the nine soldiers, which is Luke, Unio, QJ, Minmin, and now Natsuko, they're joined together and they're trying to figure out what they can do. And the episode can kind of be divided into two parts. First part is nonsense, which is Natsuko is still wanting to do the things her way, just her figuring out to forget everybody else, and she does that. She basically leaves them behind and goes and does her own thing. Because of this, Luke gets frustrated and he leaves as well. Yunio follows him behind. Luke ends up in the Badlands, essentially, where Justice lives, and he starts talking to Justice, and they make amends together, in some way, but not really. Like he kind of like he kind of like shares his feelings to Justice, and Justice doesn't really share back, I guess, is really what happens. And Luke just storms off. Unio's behind him, follows him. And nothing really is fully resolved there, but it is the beginning of resolving, because that prompts just to do something else in the second half. While that's happening, Natsuko is having her own journey and figuring that she can't work at all on her own. She needs the help of others. Um, and because she needs the help of others, she needs to work with the group and figure out something because what she created before wasn't good enough. So she goes back and essentially they do what they were supposed to do from the beginning, and that is plan an attack. So QJ, this is her forte, is more of a analyzer. So not just that, it records the battles. So it shows them the battle of how Natsuko lost. And they're able to see that there's a core within the mouth. So QJ uses his powers for that. Menmian doesn't really use a lot of her powers here per se, but she does help snapping Natsuko back into her senses. Yunio is going to be kind of like the rider pushing through. He's also a shield for Luke at some point and does help as well. Luke is going to be the key character and fighter for this battle, and Natsuko is supposed to be supporting. So they go into battle. All hell breaks loose with this monster comes out, and they go battling. And essentially, yeah, Natsuko, instead of creating a character that will destroy with a one punch the creature, she creates support for Luke to get close enough to attack it, and that's like a stairway all the way up to where the monster is, and uh, it, it's all going well until Natsuko can't see them, can't they're too far away for her to see. So then she finds, or Justice finds her one way or the other. Anyways, Justice ends up flying her up with his broken wing. Luke notices it. That is key for the next part, but doesn't matter. She's able to fly. At this point, Memi and QJ are inside the monster already by the core. They come out. Yunio stops being a shield and uses his power to launch Luke far enough where Luke uses his power to cut the monster in half. It's like everyone is working in unison. Really, what they wanted was to work for them in unison. The episode ends with Luke and Justice kind of making amends now for sure. Um, and that's about it. There's not really a introduction to the next arc. So I'm wondering what's going to happen next in the episode, to be honest. There's not a lot to it. So we'll see. For now, the series continues, and what I thought was gonna last a little longer didn't last that long. So hopefully they introduce the characters we saw in the beginning, and maybe we get some background story from them. So, oh well. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you haven't done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.